Hello, thanks for joining us on Journalist Hangout. I am Veronica Danik-Boy. Today on the Hangout, Lagos police make 2 more arrests over kidnappers' den. Delta State Governor says PDP is ready to reclaim power in 2019. And later on the program, Peter Slams Wike accuses him of turning governance to a joke. I will be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju, Ayamakinde, and Afolabi Akinola. Gentlemen, thanks for coming on the program.
Thanks for having us.
Journalist Hangout starts now. When the government was constructing tunnels along the Lagos-Abeokuta Expressway, the plan probably would have been to manage floods. But on Tuesday, Nigerians were shocked to their marrows when they found out that a certain tunnel in the Ijaye-Ojokoro area of Lagos was a pathway to evil. It was a kidnapper's den and a favored sanctuary for some individuals who are desperate for quick money. In a few minutes, the quiet community became a mecca of some sort. Blood boiled, and before the police got to the scene, a mob had taken to jungle justice. The Lagos State Police Command says 7 arrests have been made, and investigations are underway to get to the root of the incident. How did we, as a people, get to this terrible state where human lives are no longer sacred, Ayo?
Well, it's not that human lives are not sacred. Maybe our attention just seems to be shifted somewhere else. One thing that gladdens my heart, though, is that all values are not entirely lost. I guess we just kind of got carried away with our individual needs from time to time, economic challenges, school fees, house rents, transportation, my bosses and stuff. We just seem to get carried away. But then when push came to shove,
pushes us to take human lives?
No. Well, I'm talking from the perspective of those who still have their heads screwed right.
Okay.
You don't pay attention to these things because you are also busy trying to take care of some other things. But when attention got drawn to it, everybody knew that, no, this cannot just continue. People who had been negligent of what was happening in their environment now recognized the importance of doing something. And as for those fellows who were involved in the kidnapping, we all know that it's not new. It's just that the markets seem to be shifting from place to place, maybe because those people who had been engaged in it thought it's a buoyant market. And now that they know that it's not something comfortable or pleasant, I want to believe that even as we speak, though some people are getting caught, some are still going to say it won't happen to me.
Because they have their means. But then Lagos, like he said, like I said, Afolabi, this is moving from place to place. We discovered a kidnapper's den sometime in Ikorodu, and they've been making discoveries and making arrests. Lagos is looking like a hub of some sort, where it seems like this is a lucrative business within the state.
I think I have a challenge with the lowest echelon in our society. If you look at it clearly, it's like this thing has been very rampant among them. And I think, again, in the issue of kidnapping, we must introduce another thing to security intelligence. In as much as we have a reward for whistleblowers as far as economic crime is concerned, we also need something like that in this regard. That thing has been happening for a very long time. I'm sure this is not the first time some people also be aware that things like that have been happening.
In their environment.
In their environment. So interestingly, in this situation, if we have a fantastic reward for whistleblowers, who of course have an idea of 1 or 2 things that have been happening in the environment that is not too reasonable, I think it will be very, very, very relevant to security network as far as this issue is concerned. Because without this kind of thing in place, a lot of people might be keeping things to their mind, because it's not really safe for Nigerians. So whistleblower reward, as far as kidnapping is concerned, as far as this criminal tendencies is concerned in our society, will be much more very relevant to security intelligence, as far as I am concerned.
The Lagos State seem to have invested so much in the aspect of security, yet we still see issues like this, staring us in the face.
Yes, what it suggests is that no amount can be too much to spend on security, because the primary responsibility of government is to protect life and property.
Yeah.
So if we invest so much on the security of the people, it can be a bad idea. And Lagos State is leading the way, but as we have seen, even the criminals are becoming more and more sophisticated. Educated people are getting involved, especially in kidnapping. Kidnapping is usually well planned now, you know, with the intention of evading arrest by the police, with the intention of getting away after collecting ransom. And you can see that they have found the Lagos waterways, Lagos and Ogun waterways, through which they can link Ondo State. They found that an easy getaway. So what Lagos needs to do now is to invest more in security, targeting the marine police. They need to do a lot more to support the marine police. The marine police in Lagos State is the best in the country, and it is because it continues to get support from the state government. But I am proposing that the government should invest more in this area, because the kidnappings that have taken place in the last few years, it's through the waterways, people have been spirited away.
Escape route.
And we know that they are particularly targeting students. More than 21 students have been kidnapped in the last 1 year. So we can't continue to have this kind of situation. So we must continue to make life difficult for these kidnappers, because when we make life difficult for them, not just in the kind of laws that we come up with, we must make it difficult for them to get away with the crime. When they find it difficult to get away with the crime, you will see clearly that a lot of them would not want to take to kidnapping. But as long as people are being kidnapped and these kidnappers get away and they don't even, justice is not served in good time, definitely we won't be able to stop kidnapping. Look at what the IG has done along the Kaduna-Abuja highway, for example. You know, for a long time, people have been kidnapped on that road. If you happen to be driving a Jeep, for example, a four-wheel drive, or a sport utility vehicle, as they are generally called, they will stop you and kidnap you. Many federal lawmakers have been targeted, some of them kidnapped. State lawmakers have been kidnapped on that very important highway. So what the police have now done is to work with the people. Exactly. The IG decided to transfer to the policemen working in that area, because it was eventually discovered that some policemen were actually conniving with kidnappers. Whereby you provide information and then these kidnappers come back and waste people as a way of punishing them for providing information to the police. So now we are seeing weapons being recovered from them. A lot of them were Fulani headsmen. You know, people, even Fulanis have now discovered that kidnapping is a money spinner.
And all of that.
So they don't want to go into the bush looking, tending their cattle. They want to go and be kidnapping because and make quick money. Those who kidnap Baba Falai were Fulanis. A lot of the people kidnapping people in the Niger Delta area these days, especially Delta State, are Fulani headsmen. So now they too have seen that this business is highly profitable in inverted commas. So we must discourage them. It's much more the risk. The level of risk is a lot lower than an armed robbery. So they will take to it. Any business with less risk and with a high profit margin, Nigerians will die to get involved in it. That's what we are seeing with kidnapping.
But it's some time ago, Lagos State seemed to have come up with if the person kidnapped, there was a death penalty, so somewhat at some point. But that doesn't seem to be deterring or serving as a deterrent.
I think on this program some time ago, it was also argued that most governors are not even willing to sign death warrants. That's just the main problem here, because when you believe that, like he has said, if punishment is sacrosanct for crime being committed, I think it should be lesser. In any society where you feel that you can just go away with anything you do, then there is a problem. Because and again, I also observe, like he has said, that I think the system is even becoming more sophisticated because there are kingpins discovered that most kidnappers now are not even staying in GRAs and all that, in places where they can even plan better.
Areas.
Hiding in
Honestly.
plain sight.
Honestly. So it's funny. So when you have people who, of course, in most cases are even, guests of special honors in most events, and they are big-time kidnappers in disguise, then it's terrible for that society. But I think the law must be strengthened in such a way that at least whoever commits such a crime should not go scot-free.
If you don't mind me adding, it's not even a question of the law now. We have the law. Let's enforce. Question you want to ask, just as to buttress a bit what you said, is how many people have been killed or arrested or incarcerated
Punished.
as a result of kidnapping till today. That's number one. Number two, and I'm also glad that Jide mentioned it, the fact that the people are now getting more and more involved. Back in the day, even in my hometown as we speak, they will always tell you, remember the son of whom you are. There is that communal security. You go from one house to house number 5 and you behave anyhow. They ask you, where are you from? Whose child are you?
Who is your father?
Where is your house? Once you can mention that one, if they cannot find out, if you can't trace it to anywhere, you're going to the police station.
But that's quite difficult in Lagos here, where everybody comes to
converge. Which is where we might, the Lagos State government might need to take a cue from what Jide said about what's happening in that Kaduna, road access and all of that. Where let the people in the community, which is one of the principles of this whole community policing thing, let the people in a particular community be primarily responsible for the community of their own micro environment. With that one, any stranger in the environment is taken up. Now, what happened in that environment is that in this case study that we're looking at, everyone came out and said, this cannot continue.
Look at the crowd.
I pity, what's her name? Is it Joker, one of your colleagues? Someone said that she was looking like someone who went to drill oil. The way she was coming out of that place. And that's what, true journalism is about.
Yes, that's what,
so,
true journalists are never afraid of.
Yes. But that kind of thing, that's another thing. One more thing is the policeman-populace ratio. I do not know. I doubt if we have enough policemen. By standard, I think it's supposed to be one policeman to say 500 people. I don't think we have up to that.
With the way that the Nigerian police force is structured, can we have that?
We can. Can we have it now?
I think like he has said, but the way I look at it, the victory of most wars all over the world are product of fecundity of imaginations and intelligence. It's not the numerical strength of the police that can win a war that has to do with intelligence. Because take, for instance, this thing has been happening for a very long time. We need more of detectives in policing. This is very
intelligence gathering.
Intelligence gathering. We need more.
I think that he has a point. The civilian population to police ratio, as it concerns Nigeria, is the lowest in the world.
In the world, yes.
And it's unacceptable. And even when we talk about the policemen, the few policemen that we have, you know that for years there was no recruitment. For years, no recruitment at all. Policemen would die, they were not replaced. Policemen would retire, they were not replaced. It's when this IG came now, Idris, when he came, that he began to talk about the need for recruitment. For years, no recruitment didn't take place. So that's unacceptable. There's nowhere that is allowed to happen, nowhere. And then even some of the policemen that we have, politicians have appropriated most of the policemen that we have, or a good number of policemen, let me not say most, so that people don't say Jide is guilty of exaggeration. Politicians have appropriated so many of the policemen that we have.
When
I
one
know a
person is being
governor.
guarded by like
I know a former governor who was saying the other day, one former governor from the Niger Delta area, who was saying, oh, the civilian to police ratio is unacceptable. Meanwhile, he, whenever he's moving around, he has about 50 policemen guiding him. So people can complain.
Just one person.
Yes, one person. People can complain about police do this. Don't they need to search their hearts and admit to the fact that they are part of the problem? When you are an individual, you are no longer even in government. You've left office. You've left office, and you still have 50 policemen to yourself. some funny characters who have become councillors now. They are asking for police. They are asking for police even for their wives because they become councillors. Some of them have no education at all.
No, that also brings to mind the issue of security.
I'm talking about. I'm looking at the pressure that put on even the current number of policemen that we have. We simply do not have enough. We've not met the UN ratio, acceptable ratio.
I did a calculation some time ago, and I realized that if we're going to have substantial, we need to recruit at least 500,000 policemen. At least 500,000.
And you can only do that on a sustained basis. You do it every year, you recruit so number of people. It's the same thing with the army. We don't have enough soldiers. That's a fact. And I was happy when some of the some civilian JTF guys were recruited into the army because these guys sacrificed a lot. You read the story that about 604 civilian JTF had been killed by Boko Haram in recent years. So they recruited some of them into the army. They've been working with the army over the years. So we need to constantly recruit into the army so that we can always use them. We have enough of them to use for our battles here and there. Then we need to constantly recruit into the police. We can't have a situation whereby for 3 years you will not recruit into the police. It's unacceptable.
Especially when things get sophistication.
Doesn't that also bring to mind the issue of state policing, Afolabi?
Well, it's state policing again, like as everybody has been canvassing for, is as a result of the fact that there are inefficiencies of the one we have on ground. You might even have a very good numerical strength, but how efficient are they? The issue is that even if you are recruiting now, I want to believe that the sophistication of the level of crime we have in our environment now will determine the kind of training they are going to be getting. The kind of policemen you recruited, I think in the last 10 years or 5 years ago, the kind of training they got, I'm quite convinced that now, if you recruit anybody now, the kind of training you're going to give them will be more fast because we have more intelligent, more well-equipped criminals.
That also brings to mind the issues of funding.
Police. Funding, so the recruitment process now, like I said, should be intelligence-driven one, not even combatant. So because, like I have said, information is key. The moment we have that, we can mobilize.
Talking about information, there is a blind side that we need to give a little more attention, which is these desolate buildings, desolate areas of Lagos. In the research towards this
Could you just hold the thought? We have Raymond on the line from Abuja. Raymond, are you there?
Yes, Mr.
Go ahead with your contribution, please.
Yes, I really want to appreciate you guys for this program.
Thank you.
Well, I want to make this observation. Hello?
Go ahead.
I can hear you.
Go ahead.
I want to make this observation. Can you guys please extend this program to like 2 hours? Because 1 hour is too small. Journalist Hangout is like what makes my day. If I go to work every day, I'm rushing back to come and watch Journalist Hangout. If I watch this program, it makes my day. And that 1 hour is just too small. By the time it's almost finishing, that's when Babajide will start bringing some good points that will make somebody want to enjoy more and more. So please, even if it means that I have to buy another bottle of granola from Mr. Jide, no wahala. But it should be increased to
you actually bribe me with something bigger than that.
Well, the better bribe for you would probably have this program.
All right, Raymond, thank you, Raymond.
No, Raymond, the truth is, we actually started as a 30 minutes program. If you remember, because journalist Hangout used to be known as E15.
Yes.
Election 2015. You know, we are preparing for the 2015 election. We are analyzing what will happen and all that. So people now said, look, this program must be sustained. People, even directors in this company, I mean, people from outside. I remember one fellow from Kano who sent a message that, look, every day you do this program, I make 2,000 naira because he had a viewing center. Wow. Nora Shaibu is his name. He's probably watching me now. So 2,000 naira a day for people, you know, people in the north, especially Kano, they don't joke with politics.
He also provided a job.
So yes, he was making his money. And the pressure came that we should extend, the program. And then we came to 1 hour. When it was suggested that it should be 1 hour, some people said, no, what will you be saying? They thought the program would be boring. But as we have seen, even when we do the special package is 2 hours.
2 hours, yes.
Before we know it, 2 hours is gone.
It's gone.
You see?
That's what happens when you're talking about serious issues.
I think
back to the conversation.
Good point to keep us salivating.
Yeah.
Yes.
So. The desolate buildings and desolate areas.
Yes.
I looked at a study or a report someone did on the Festac axis, and I'm sure Festac is not the only place. So do we have them at Ikorodu, Lekki, Ekwe, and stuff like that. Those areas are still bushy. They are still pretty much desolate, and no one is watching them. In fact, there are areas on your way between Benin and Asaba. I hear that anytime from 7 p.m., no policeman dares to be
even
along
policemen
that
with
road.
arms.
Yes.
Forget.
So that's so with what you have said now, that should be the focus of Nigerian
those
police.
desolate areas are what?
On abandoned buildings.
Abandoned
Abandoned buildings, even in the heart of Lagos.
Even in the heart of
I
Lagos.
remember the governor of Lagos State, because he likes to move around in the night trying to inspect projects. I don't know where he finds that energy. That man, I don't know where Asiwaju got him. He likes to move around, and that speaks to the reality of the man in Bodyland being a genius himself.
Honestly,
that you can discover people.
Yes.
You know, that you have that third eye that
Yes.
others don't have, to know that this guy is the person.
That's
to
what I
beat.
refer to as ego high.
Yeah. So now
To
he
detect.
moves around. He likes to move around sometimes 12 midnight just to see
What's going on?
what's going on. This job that I gave this fellow, let me see how
Whether
far
he's
has he
doing
gone
it or
with
not.
it. And then his convoy came under fire.
What?
Somewhere in the heart of Lagos. It was at that point that Ambode now made up his mind that, look, if you have that building that has been there for years, you just left it, you have not, you didn't restore it, you didn't develop the building in any way, just left it the way it was. And then it becomes a den for criminals, where they can drag women in, tear their pants and rape them. Then you will lose you will lose that plot of land. It can be re-awarded to someone else. And in the heart of Lagos, even that Bar Beach Road, what was it called? Amadu Bello Way. I'm telling you, you will see some abandoned buildings, especially on the right.
Federal government owned.
Yes, abandoned. So people, criminals will hide in those places. They will find hibernation in such places. So they must go, the police must be
proactive enough
after such buildings and identify. I think they should also make public the dark spots and warn the people that, look, these are dark spots. You avoid these places once it's like 7 p.m. and all that, so that.
I think sometime not too long ago, Lagos State government identified some of those areas and put security officials there. Under that Otedola Bridge was a very, very dark spot at some point. But now,
no, they're always there now. They're always there.
They're always there now.
Yes.
My younger sister's friend was robbed that road. Their car broke down, and they discovered that it was the radiator that was eaten. So they now got pure water. As they were trying, those guys pretended like they were going to assist. Oh, what happened? Because the women, you know, we like to help women when we see women. Oh, wow, what happened? Let's assist you. They helped them, turned water into the radiator, and then once they were done, they relieved them of their phones.
Wow.
Is that an assistance?
They assisted
No,
them.
That was what was happening
it's
at the
okay,
time.
we'll help you so that you can leave this place. But before you go, we'll collect
So in moving forward quickly, what's your final take on this topic so we can move on now?
3 things have been said here critically. Number 1, the police has been extremely proactive, extremely wonderful, and we should give them credence. Yes. Jide mentioned the fact that some of them die. Their colleagues have to return to work. I woke up one morning and that was the thought on my heart, that the colleagues of these policemen, they still have to go back to work no matter what has, irrespective of what's happened to their colleagues. Dead, hospitalized, it doesn't matter. We need to give thoughts to that one. Secondly, these desolate areas that we just talked about, locations, abandoned buildings, desolate places all over the city of Lagos need attention. And then thirdly, intelligence gathering.
My own is that, as far as I am concerned, there should be a reward for whistleblowing, because this will
crime.
For crime. So we should not limit this one to economic crimes alone. for you to give us information that will help us to, you know, arrest most
Discover
of those boys.
areas like
It's very
this.
key to this issue. Because either you like it or not, police also need people.
Yes, of course. Jide.
Yeah, I think that the police has to be encouraged with the right equipment, the right tools that they need to do their work. I'm impressed with what Disu and the police commissioner in Lagos State, what they are doing. They've done a tremendous job. Ocean is one of the finest officers that I've seen in a long time. Very cultured and always ready to assist, always responding promptly to issues that come his way. So the Lagos State government should continue to support the police. And I want the IG, because the IG was here last week, and the Lagos State governor pleaded that they should create more police commands. I want the IG to take that seriously. Look at Ikorodu, a sprawling community. Ikorodu is bigger than Ijebu-Ode. But how many police formations do we have in Ikorodu?
Okay.
So we need more police formations in those areas, especially now that we can see that criminals are heading in that direction. You know? So
All right.
police should do something.
Okay, when we return, PDP says it is confident of winning the 2019 polls. Is this a mindless assumption or a statement or fact? Details when we return. An American columnist, Stu Larson, famously said instead of giving a politician the keys to the city, it might be better to change the locks. This quote is finding deep interpretation in Nigeria today. Since the Supreme Court entered the imbroglio in the People's Democratic Party, members of the party have been really optimistic about taking back power in the center in 2019. In just 2 years, the party assumes that Nigerians have forgotten how their hopes were dashed during the party's 16 years rule at the center. One of the most optimistic voices in the party today is the governor of Delta State, Ifeanyi Okowa. On Tuesday, the governor said that the party has realized areas it did not satisfy the expectations of Nigerians and is set to make corrections. Political observers say this statement is one of the biggest fallacies of this century. Judy, I'll start with you on this one. Do you agree? Or what do you make of the statement, first of all?
Well, the PDP is welcome to give itself hope. I think the decision lies finally with Nigerians. Anybody can say anything. The fact is, it's Nigerians who will decide whether it's about time to forgive the PDP. Because the PDP had a unique opportunity from 1999 to turn Nigeria to another Singapore. After all, these countries and Nigeria were on the same level, you know, just after independence. Singapore, Brazil, the rest of them, Malaysia. But today, everyone has left us behind. And there is no way you can write the story of Nigeria, the story of misrule, the story of official brigandage, the story of legalized brigandage in our country without talking about the role played by the PDP. Of course, we are reading about loot recovery by Brian Magu and the CFCC team. God bless him. And that happened under the watch, under the PDP. So you ask yourself that if these guys had a few more years, if Jonathan had a few more years, a very weak president, if he had a few more years, what would have happened to our nation? Because Jonathan presided over Nigeria in a season of plenty. Oil prices high. But a lot of what should actually have been used to develop our nation, make our nation greater, went into private pockets. And we've seen when people say that what a man can do, a woman can do better. Desani has demonstrated that in an unspeakable manner. I don't think that in recent history, in recent world history, people can point to any woman
in the world
that has done this,
that has looted as much as this woman has done, because she has to explain where she got all this money. She has to explain. It's not enough to recover. I hear Magu say that, look, this is just a tip of the iceberg. Wow. Meaning that, just like Abacha, the greatest looter to ever rule Nigeria, they are still going to find, even in the years to come, they are still going to find some money stolen by the Zane that have not been discovered now. No. Because Abacha left the scene many years ago. But they are still discovering monies that the got good thief stole. They are still discovering countries that you and I never knew existed on the map.
He stashed
money in those countries. He helped me. He improved my geography. Jersey Island, Liechtenstein, countries that you can't even think about. Abacha kept money in those countries. Dezane is still alive, even though she's cancer-stricken, as we were told. But who knows how much more Magu and his team are going to discover and recover from this woman. So it happened during the PDP. And as long as, during the PDP era, as long as Nigerians have a sense of history, because it's not all of us who suffer from amnesia. As long as Nigerians have a sense of history, they will remember, no matter the best intentions of some members of that party, they will remember that it was under the PDP that all this happened. And every time they remember, they will find it difficult to forgive this party.
A bitter taste. All right, I come to you now, Afolabi. Now, Governor Kowa is claiming or is hinging this vision on, let me quote him, to make corrections and provide Nigerians with good governance anchored on accountability, rule of law, and improved welfare of the citizenry. Now, from what Jide has said, how do you wrap this up together?
This is even the greatest comedy of the millennium. There are some statements that can simply be described as an eye-popping, bewilderment. In all democratic definitions, the People's Democratic Party has failed the text of democracy in recent years. And for good students of history, you know that even when you are campaigning, in as much as I appreciate opposition parties, because take for instance, every human being naturally in life has tendencies to misbehave if there are institutions that are not in place to checkmate such excesses. Of course, the Supreme Court ruling, which gave a reasonable level of fair play for PDP now to operate, of course will stand as a good, one way or the other, whether you like it or not, as an opposition in a way to the All Progressive Congress, at least to ensure that dividend of democracy is delivered. Yeah. But I think the statement being used by the governor of Delta State, when you say power, because I think most politicians in Nigeria just after power, you capture power. We are not monkeys. What should be important is, what are you capturing? You need to capture, how you are going, if you use, okay, we are going to even render a good service as far as dividend of democracy is concerned, which of course you can't even lay claim to. Because history, as either you like it or not, we all stand before history, because we are all products of what we have done in the past.
Of course.
And secondly, there are two judges of human actions, conscience and history. One when you are alive, and the other one when you are no more. So to me, in the court of public opinion, and as far as I am concerned, with all right-thinking Nigerians, I can't see any democratic precedent that will have qualified him to even make this kind of statement. Maybe, people can just be happy. Let me just be happy
Try
for
to make himself happy.
Happy, which he has said. It's the greatest comedy of the millennium, and I'm sure all Progressive Congress will also work hard. Because either you like it or not, the fact that you are in power today, I want them to see it as a challenge. That what people want at the end of the day is not whether you are in APC or you are in PDP. Dividends of democracy is not negotiable. And that's what we want in Nigeria.
Well, can we wish them away, Ayo, with all of the statement? No.
Quite honestly, no. As a matter of fact, when your enemy, no matter how powerless he seems, makes some claims, should give you a point as to what you should do. if you are planning to go somewhere and you are hearing things about that place you're going to, you have two options: to not go, or if it's important for you to go, find out how best to still achieve your objective. But from all intents and purposes, the only thing that I see in speech writing, Jide will probably help me here, they call some things buzzwords. B-U-Z-Z words. Those are the things that he's just throwing up. I read the thing, he even have a 10-point agenda. You know how they are going to take it. I also all those things, as far as they are just buzzwords. And then, as Afolabi said, they kept talking about party, party, party. That party is greatly overrated now. The election of that guy in Ondo State?
No, Ondo State.
What's this man's name? Mimiko.
Mimiko,
okay.
Should underscore that. Party is highly overrated. With the talk of independent candidacy now, PDP better go and... I don't even know how important PDP sounds in anybody's ears as of today. I don't know about other parts of Nigeria, but in any sane environment, in any place where they use cars and they use phones, I doubt, and there is internet penetration, I doubt if PDP, you know, is a party that can make any, unless there's some kind of popularity of the candidate. I did a bit of study about Oyo State recently at the last election. I found out that people voted a lot more for the individual as opposed to the political party. A lot more. And this was a study carried out by, you know, two or three people in the academia, you know, and they had quite a number of people, you know, they spoke with, and many things played out in how people voted. Party played less importance, so people should.
I want to follow your line of thought, because if you go on to read about so many things, you find out that a lot of people are no longer interested on which party, or interested in which party you belong to. They are interested in the candidate, and we are still looking at issues of independent candidacy and all of that. But then, what can Nigerians do, looking at the fact that, yes, we are trying to push a bill to look towards having independent candidates, but that hasn't pulled through yet?
The issue is that in democratic institutions, no individual can just cut a show. Because, of course, if you are in power, take for instance, if you are an independent candidate and you are lucky to be elected to become a governor of the state, are you going to want to have a structure? A tree decay from the top. And again, it's even much more bigger when a tree does not even have a root. That's a serious issue. So, because nobody all over the world has monopoly of wisdom. So, sometimes, show me your friend, and I will tell you you are. Even if you are an independent candidate, you are not in an independent environment. You are still going to work with people. The only luck that we can be praying for here is that I believe that there are things that are achievable with, you know, people of like minds. Just like when you are talking about journalism hangout, there is one thing that is sacrosanct. The spirit of journalism anywhere is established. Once we talk, we know that, okay, stories must be balanced. We know that there must be, you know, you must be able to express your opinion and all that in a way that at least history will not remain vindictive. Now, you cannot move away from structure. Because if you're an independent, you work with people. You're going to have commissioners, you're going to have special advisors and all that. And if those people do not believe in your philosophy of governance, there's going to be an issue. There's going to be an issue. All
right, we have a caller on the line. Ishak from Plateau State. Ishak, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, go ahead with your contribution.
Good evening to you all.
Good evening.
I think we can, PDP will not cease to amaze us. They will not stop amazing us. The only way we can forgive PDP for misrule is for them to call the attention of their members that have looted this country dry. To first return the looted money. The looted money. Once they return that, then we can think of whether we will forgive them. Not to talk of putting them back in 2019. I think they should just forget about it. They should just be ashamed of themselves by coming openly as they shouldn't take us for granted. Nigeria has been so patient. We ought to have been one of the most developed nations in the world. But these people, these so-called recycled politicians, have.
But for democracy to... All right, thank you, Ishak. But for democracy to thrive, You need a healthy competition.
What he has said is even very, very interesting, you understand? For you to forgive you, because take for instance, if you have looted and you are still campaigning, sometimes we are all human beings and I have blood running in my vein. This president has looted in Nobona and he's even looking fine. He's even campaigning to me that I'm hungry.
Okay, let me come to, let me bring Judy in then. For a party that seemingly has, or rather is coming out of the woods of schism, as some will call it, is this the first step to take, looking at taking over power?
You see, if you ask me, the APC should, no matter how Nigerians feel about the PDP, no matter how difficult it is for Nigerians who have not recovered from years of misrule to forget and forgive the PDP, the APC should not take the Nigerian people for granted.
Yes.
Don't say because you are in power, you can do anything and get away with it. You must take the people seriously. You must fulfill your campaign promises, because that is what will earn you a second term. If you have a litany of unfulfilled promises, what are you going to tell the people? You can't stand on the podium and be shelling out fresh lies. So you are going to do these fresh promises, because they will ask you about what you promised 4 years ago.
Yes.
And the party must try to solve its internal problems.
Yes.
There are internal contradictions that are holding down the APC. And as I continue to say on this program, at the national level, I've not seen quality leadership demonstrated by the leadership of the party.
At least.
There are problems in the states, and the leadership of the party is watching those problems degenerate into even bigger problems. These are the things offering the PDP hope. When they hear that, oh, these giants in the APC, in Kano, for example, has left the party, it offers them hope that, oh, we still have someone like Malam Shekarawi, he remains strong. Our party has a chance next time. When they see that, oh, the man with the red cap, Kwankwaso, the current governor, are not on good terms, as we've seen demonstrated again and again. They know that Kwankwaso by nature is a very vindictive politician. They know that it's not likely to support the governor unless the crisis between them is resolved. That will continue to offer them hope. And we have this kind of crisis in different parts, in different states in Nigeria, where the APC had congresses. Some of those congresses were characterized by accusation of rigging, of favoritism, and all that. So they need to look at themselves, try to solve the problems, the internal problems of the party, so as not to give room for the PDP to capitalize on that. The PDP is saying, look, we have a non-elective Congress on Saturday. We want to use that Congress to send a message to Nigerians that, look, we are back.
Serious,
We are back, and that we want to take over in 2019. The problems bedeviling the Nigerian people, the hunger in the land, must be addressed with the right economic policies, so that the people can renew their faith in the ruling party. If no concrete action is done along that line, then the PDP will continue to think that it is in with a good chance.
Well, still on the PDP, Governor Nyesom Wike of Rivers State is popular for his relentless appetite to pull surprises. In June, the governor sacked the state's executive council. Now, on Monday, the governor pulled another surprise when he fired all his special advisors except one, and caretaker chairman of 4 local government councils. Today, Governor Wike is about the governor with the highest staff turnover in 2 years. On Wednesday, the governorship candidate of the All Progressives Congress APC in Rivers State during the 2015 election, Dakuku Peterside, said the governor, Wike, has turned governance to a joke and likened his actions to that of a despot who is confused and afraid of everybody around him. what is happening in River State, Aya?
Drama. I mean, that's just the way it sounds to me, because Governor Wike has good reason to be shaky.
Why? Why should he be shaky?
The power blocks in that state is not predictable. We all know it. The power blocks there can turn at any time, even right there in his own kitchen.
And so by sacking your members and all
I think
of that,
one of the
your
things
staffers,
that
you feel you're safe?
One of the things that a politician needs to realize, the one skill that a politician needs to have is that of foresight, hindsight, and insight. Okay, maybe there are three, but they're all sight: foresight, hindsight, insight. Because in the first place, before you choose the people who are going to be working with you, what were your reasons in the first place? Do you think they have what it takes, or you just want to reward the boys, so to speak? I wouldn't even take much of what is happening in River State at this point for too seriously. What is of importance to me is how that action of his
is affecting
the lives of the people. One, two, the people in the state, especially in the capital city, what is their reaction? Are they just sitting down and watching, or doing something? Sometimes we pay too much attention to Abuja that we do not know what's happening right under our own noses. So I would appreciate if a situation where the press, the civil society organizations in Port Harcourt in particular, would raise flags. And so it's not just that function of another politician, just because what do you expect a politician to say? A politician is going to say what Peter Sat has said. So what we expect is the people themselves to take the gauntlet, take ownership and say, this is our government. You can't just behave like this. We want to have sustained, because the next crop of people that are coming in now are going to get refresher courses, orientations. They're going to pretty much press the reset button.
So how do you think the people, there's much the people can do about this issue?
I think let's just let's put this matter this way. It's not only Governor Wike. We have governors in Nigeria that do not even have any special advisors or commissioner for years. You understand what I'm saying? The issue now is we need to separate competence and loyalty sometimes. When you have governors that feels that, okay, your loyalty is much more important to me as an individual
than your competence.
Than your competence in terms of service delivery to the state. That's an emperor. That's an emperor. So if I can't understand the kind of loyalty you are looking for, when the competence in terms of service delivery to people who put you in power is immaterial.
Maybe if you don't mind me, budging in now, maybe the point of loyalty there would be if the loyalty causes you to cooperate with my vision. Because if your loyalty does not support allegiance to the vision, there will be a problem. If your loyalty is to the people, and it's not compromising governance and dividends of democracy, which you mentioned earlier, to the people, then yes. But a situation where your loyalty, is more, to me, is more important than loyalty to the people.
And I think, again, because of the fact that the governor or the president has a right to hire and fire at will, it will be very difficult for us in Nigeria to even have special advisors or commissioners and all that who will not be sycophantic. You understand?
In this light.
In this situation. In my life, the happiest moment of my life is when I'm exchanging views, when ideas are contesting for acceptability. That is the beauty of democracy. If you have cabinet, if you have state executive council that is highly engaging and scholarly, that we can disagree and agree on issues or policies and all that, which will give birth to a robust policies. Because when issues are exhaustively discussed, at the end of the day, it takes a reefer to make a pure gold. We'll come out with, reasonable level of, what will take us to even govern as a state and as a state governor. So when you have people, in fact, I want to be honest with you, most governors, most people, and it's not even in the area of politics, most people appreciate sycophants. As a governor or as a president, I will appreciate people who have 3 individuals in their cabinet. Those who think in words, those who think in figures, and those who think in pictures. When you have people of, cross-fertilized ideas, trying to ensure that at least nobody has monopoly of wisdom, you make move. But when you have people, in most cases, Most people who are emperors in life are not always intelligent. When you are intelligent, when you are a man full of wisdom, you realize that you need the potentials of others to, of course, pilot your way in life.
Which is
That's just
worked
that.
in Lagos
All
for us.
right,
So this is what is happening in Lagos State and, of course, Eko Nibaje.
Let's bring Jide in now. Peter Side is saying that Wike was never really prepared to govern River State, but was only interested in acquiring the power to serve a selfish motive.
Well, I don't expect Dr. Peter Side to be praising Wike because they've never been good friends. But the fact remains that Wike has diminished the office of governor of River State by some of his actions. He said the other day that most kidnappings are actually planned by the police. And I said, what is wrong with this man? Well, this is a lawyer, for God's sake. He's a trained lawyer. His wife is a justice of the High Court.
You're saying that.
And then you hear Wike say certain things that even you, that you are not a lawyer, that you didn't read law, you'll be embarrassed by some of his actions. I know that the APC have their own problems in River State. Of course, Dakuku will not come out to talk about their own problems.
Definitely.
They can talk about other people's problems. They will know that Magnus Abe and Rotimi Amechi, who has installed himself as the emperor of the APC in River State, they have issues as we speak. So, but the truth is, how do they want to come together to address the aberration that Wike represents? Because Wike, by his actions, remember, he also claimed that the money found in Osborne Towers belongs to River State,
yes.
and that he will go to court if they did not release. He said it was money stolen by Rotimi Amechi.
Yes.
We've been waiting for him to go to court since then. He has refused. So it's an aberration, and nature has a way of resolving aberrations. I know that in the fullness of time, the aberration that Wike represents will be addressed by nature itself that threw him up. But how about the APC in River State? The truth is that if they do an election today, they cannot dislodge Wike. They are not strong enough to dislodge him. He's so strong in that state. He's always been a grassroots person. His methods may be unorthodox, may be downright irresponsible. But what are you doing as a party? You are not strong enough to dislodge this man, and you are still quarreling with yourselves. So what Dakuku is saying amounts to empty gas to me, because at the end of the day, what is your plan? How do you intend to come together to kick away this aberration? That is the thing. That is the thing. So you can abuse him, you can say, oh, he sacked people and all that. He has not explained to us why he sacked those people, whether they were loyal or they were not disloyal. He may just have found an opportunity to bring in new people. It may not be issue of disloyalty. It is for him to tell us why he sacked those people. But the fact remains that the APC in River State must work harder at building bridges, at uniting itself before they can confront the man who is the governor of the state.
All right, gentlemen, this is how we'll draw the curtains on the show for today. Many thanks for your contribution.
Thank you.
Well, that's all on Journalist Hangout. Join us tomorrow for another interesting episode of the program. Watch the repeat broadcast tonight at 11. You can also watch Journalist Hangout on YouTube. It's at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. Our feedback channel is Journalist Hangout at tvcnews.tv. I'm Veronica Danny Boy. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.